What's up, guys? I saw this video of Michael Israetel saying hammer curls are stupid because Steve Shaw of Massive Iron posted about it on Instagram, saying how stupid it was. And what disturbed me the most wasn't necessarily that he was saying that hammer curls are stupid. It was that nobody in his organization watched this video and told him how bad it looked. Like no one said, "Hey, Mike, maybe don't post this one." Or at least if you really want to say that hammer curls are stupid, hey, let's at least rework this to where it doesn't make you look so bad. Like look at this video I'm about to post. He's out here saying that hammer curls are pointless, and the sides of his arms look absolutely non existent.
Curls are stupid, and if you do them, so are you. News tonight at 11. Just kidding, fellas. You're not stupid. Hammer curls. What the hell are they? Hammer curls, like you hold a hammer like this, and that just means you have a neutral grip.
I mean, look at that. That's a bad look, right? You're out here saying that a particular exercise is pointless while displaying an exceedingly notable absence of the muscle that it's supposed to train. That's not a good look. I would have hoped that somebody in his organization would have at least said, "Hey, man, let's reshoot that with different lighting, maybe a shirt that fits better, maybe some barbell apparel." Not that they would sponsor him, obviously, since they have standards, but he could buy one. A different position, just something to make the sides of his arms not look so glaringly weak. In a video on why training that area is unnecessary. And I'm not even talking about the quality of information here, just maybe a little bit of strategic thinking, but clearly that's not taking place. And that kind of groupthink the yes man stuff is gonna come up later in this video. But anyway, I wanted to make this video because in some ways I have a lot in common with Mike. I'm also fairly torso dominant. My arms also tend to look underwhelming, especially from the front. And we've both never won a bodybuilding competition. um, so it'd be one thing for somebody who just has big arms to mock Mike, and nothing wrong with that. I'm actually all in favor of it. It needs to happen. Anybody who wants to go ahead, that would be funny. But I wanted to talk about it myself because I've been in the same boat. I'm still in the same boat, certainly to an extent, but I'm actively getting out of that situation. We're in the same situation, but I'm getting out of it. Now he's not, and that's a little bit surprising when you think about it because the odds are kind of stacked in his favor, right? He's on tons of gear. He's like, I don't know, 5'2". Allegedly outweighs me at 5'2", despite the fact that I'm almost a foot taller than him. He's got no kids or responsibilities, plenty of time to train. You'd think if one of us would be able to bring up the arms and stop him from being such a glaring weakness, it'd probably be him, right? But it isn't because I also have some advantages, and apparently they're actually more potent than steroids. So the first of these advantages is empiricism, meaning actually observing the outside world to see what's really happening. It's clear that Mike is really wrapped up in trying to reason out how all this stuff works based on principles that he understands. And I think, or, maybe thinks he understands. That's probably more the case. He thinks he understands a lot more than he does. But anyway, I think just trying to reason, from principles that he understands or thinks he understands is what's tripping him up here. So take a look at this clip.
So here's the deal. Like you're already crushing out your brachs, doing pull downs and pull ups and rows, and they're accumulating substantial muscle and growth from that. And then your biceps definitely get used for that too, but your brachs get used way more because unless you're doing tons of underhand stuff, almost everything overhand or neutral grip, which is 90% of back work, is tons of work for the exact same muscles that you would do with hammer curls. So like, if that's already the case, they're getting hit so well. Yeah, a couple hammer curls here and there, cool. But like, again, opportunity cost wise, just do more biceps work and you'll get an overall better physique.
So his reasoning here can sound compelling if you just listen to his words, but at a certain point, you have to check whether it's actually, working out that way in the real world. And just watching his video makes it very clear that it's not. And that's a massive advantage that I have over Mike. I was able to look at myself and say, hey, what I've been doing has not worked out in this area. I need to change something. I'd made some good progress in the last couple of years on arms, but I noticed that it wasn't really visible from the front. I made a whole lot of tricep gains last year. I mean, definitely some good tricep gains, but it wasn't really all that visible from the front because most of it was like stretch based, like long head works. And you can see that's kind of pretty good, strong area there. So it was really only making a visible difference from the side. Like I actually have big arms from the side, right? But then I turn around to the front, not as much. And it's gotten better, I think, but we're still definitely in that situation, right? Um. So anyway, I also hadn't prioritized brachialis work at all. Not that I hated, you know, hammer curls. I thought they were stupid. I just, hadn't really bothered with it or thought it was that important, right? Um. So even though I thought I'd been training well, because I had definitely been making gains in some areas, I did observe a deficiency and I realized I needed to correct it. So, how did I do that? Well, I have a second advantage over Mike, and this one really, really is better than steroids. I know that I don't know everything, and I know that other people know more than me about specific areas. So I set about trying to learn from them. I watched videos, I asked questions, I sought advice, and I learned from people that knew more than me, right? Unlike Mike, I'm coachable. And I'm not saying that I took every single piece of advice, because obviously when you ask a bunch of different experts, you're going to get some different answers, but I was able to get an idea of what the consensus was, implement, programming based on the commonalities from all of them in a way that worked for me. And yes, that included, although certainly not limited to, hammer curls, several variations thereof, as well as reverse curls and several variations thereof. Because it turns out that rows do not actually maximize brachialis growth, and absolutely nobody with big arms tells you to do rows if you want to get big arms. Like, not one person said, yeah, you need to do more rows. That it's like, hey, you got big arms. What do you think I should do to correct this issue in my arms? Nobody said rows, right? Um, so anyway, you only find that out if you acknowledge that there are people out there who know more than you do about things. And unfortunately, that does not seem to be the case for Mike.
Never met anyone with as much willpower as me. And whatever it is you think you're good at in your life, I'd probably take about a year and become an authority in the field in which you think you're good.
Seems like no matter who he deals with, he always has to act like the expert on everything. It's kind of bizarre, actually. His collabs look less like meetings of peers, exchanges of ideas, just training together, and more like almost like supplicants forming a pilgrimage to go bow before Mike and kiss the ring. You know what I mean? It's weird. Like, look at this thumbnail. I do not get why a genuinely successful athlete would let some nerd with small arms demean him in this way. And as an outsider to the fitness industry who has very limited, perspective on the inner workings of the fitness industry, it almost makes me wonder if there's something else going on here, right? Does anybody else find it weird how it's almost everybody just bows and scrapes around Mike, even people who have actually won competitions and stuff, and you wouldn't think that they would have any reason to treat him in this way? It's weird. And now a few of us are kind of pointing out that the emperor has no clothes, or rather, the emperor has no brachialis, no triceps, shall we say? But it's just weird how so many successful people in the fitness industry do kind of treat him with this weirdly high level of regard that just is completely out of proportionality to any achievements that he has. It does kind of make me wonder, like, what's the deal, right? But whatever, even if it is really just as simple as him having a massive ego and a high enough verbal IQ to cow a lot of objectively more successful people into submission, then at the end of the day, he's just hurting himself because you don't learn anything when you demand to be the expert that everybody else learns from, right? There's always going to be somebody with experience outside your specialty, so I don't see why that should be a problem to acknowledge. I mean, really, you should see it as a good thing. If somebody knows something that you don't, then that means that there's something you could do to make progress that you haven't already tried, which is awesome, right? But clearly, he'd rather be surrounded by yes men who won't even tell him, like, dude, you should try to make your arms look halfway decent in a video on why hammer curls are stupid. In a way, he kind of reminds me of Liver King, right? Somebody who wants to be surrounded by employees and children, rather than peers. Somebody who'd rather inject himself into an early grave than admit that his training methods aren't working. By the way, Liver King popped into my feed recently. That's why I thought of this. And yeah, I hadn't seen him in a while, and I noticed that now his gut kind of swelling up. It looks actually a whole lot like Mike's. Like their guts actually look very, very similar now. So I think instead of calling it a roid gut or a GH gut, now we should start calling it an ego gut, right? Because it seems to be what happens to people who would rather do anything, who just inject anything rather than admit that they don't know everything about training, right? Well, maybe we can start coining the term ego gut for people that have that condition. Although Liver King, I do have to say, definitely has a better tan, so he could probably actually win a bodybuilding competition on that basis. Anyway, the point of this video isn't to hype up hammer curls, although apparently they do actually work way better than steroids, since plenty of natties have better arms than Mike. And like, I hate to say it because I'm not usually one to, compare arms with anybody unless it's Milo Wolf or Angus Bradley, but I think I might even be able to put myself in this category at this point. Maybe not purely on biceps. I mean, because everybody has better biceps than me. Probably your neighbor's dog has better biceps than me, but overall, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm still kind of lagging in this area. It's definitely not a strong point, But I mean, his triceps are pretty bad, you know? I mean, you never even see him flexing from the side, right? So, I mean, as far as that goes, I don't know. Anyway, I'm just using an excuse to flex now at this point, but man, I don't know. I'd give the win to me. What do you guys think? Maybe we'll see. I mean, you know, I'm not sitting here and it's just like my shirt's just like sagging loosely, just like looking like there's nothing there. I mean, I don't look like I have big arms. I don't look necessarily jacked from the front. You can see I don't, yeah, I'll try to sit like loose, like kind of like yeah, I'm trying to like mimic his posture. And like, I don't like super jacked or anything, but I mean, yeah, my shirt fits well, which is an advantage. But, you know, I don't look super jacked or anything, but I don't look like there's just, you know, you don't see like just absence in this area, right? I don't know. Anyway, point being, so I mean, yeah, hammer curls, among other things, actually do kind of work better than steroids. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how you mess triceps up that badly. Like, I, when you're on that much gear, I mean, I guess just never training to failure and thinking that you know, that rows are actually going to do something for your tricep growth, despite tons of empirical evidence otherwise. But anyway, yeah, the point here is that it's great to apply reason and theory to your training, but at some point you've got to actually look empirically at what's actually happening and modify your theory as necessary. You know, that's actually what science is. That's what the actual principles of science are. That's how science is supposed to operate, not necessarily, you know, science, the institution today, and certainly not how science-based influencers operate, but that's in theory how science is supposed to work, right? And you definitely have to be humble enough to learn from others. No exaggeration, that ability really is better than steroids. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please let the algorithm know, like, subscribe, do the bell thing. And also, please make sure to support the sponsor of this video, Barbell Apparel. Not only do they make the best jeans that I've ever tried, but they also gave me a little bit of an unfair edge in this video since this shirt fits so well. I mean, their shirts legitimately fit great. They, you know, flatter a muscular physique. But even if for whatever reason they stop fitting, maybe you embrace the bulk, maybe you go on a big cut. They'll actually replace them as part of their lifetime guarantee, which is a pretty cool commitment to encouraging self improvement in their customers. So next time you need some clothes, definitely try them out. And one more thing, I still owe you guys a 15K Q&A. Thanks for your support, by the way. I really appreciate it. So if you're curious about anything, go to the community post where I ask for questions and get some in. If there's anything you know want to know about, it doesn't necessarily have to be lifting related. We can get into some other topics just to keep it fresh and you know add a little bit of variety there. And I'm going to try to go out and shoot it outside in some nice area for a better vibe. So that should be coming out very soon. All right, guys. Thanks. Take care.